The state of Washington has a unique system of slot machines not found anywhere else. Slots enthusiasts there asked for my help on figuring out how to improve their odds of winning, which I'll explain. Every U.S. state's gaming industry is different, despite Nevada taking a leadership role in helping other jurisdictions for the last 80-plus years. But the state of Washington handled their own startup issues on their own. Washington has two types of slot machines at their tribal casinos, Class 2 bingo-style competition machines and Class 3 slot machines. All Washington tribal casinos have a gaming compact, which permits them to have both types. Some have all Class 2, others have all Class 3, and yet others have a mix of both. Washington is unique in their Class 3 slot machines. Many other states have video lottery terminals run by a state lottery. What makes Washington slots unique is that their Class 3 slot machines are based on the state's scratch ticket lottery. Other states with VLT slot machines are based on a draw ticket lottery where the ticket is created when purchased. Then the player waits for the drawing where the winning numbers are randomly chosen using a bunch of numbered balls. But scratch lottery tickets are pre-printed. Once the player buys a ticket, they take a coin or whatever and scratch off a removable surface on the ticket to determine if they're a winner. Any randomness is due to which ticket they were given from a spool at the time of purchase. In Washington, Class 3 slot machines are connected to the tribal lottery system based on virtual scratch tickets. Casinos receive an electronic batch of them, then proceed to reveal the pre-made results one by one as a slot machine is being played. This sounds complicated, but the playing experience is exactly like playing any slot machine in another state. What's different is how everything works in the background. For instance, there is no random number generator. How to win on these unique slots is based on how electronic scratch tickets are batch fabricated and distributed on slot machines in a Washington tribal casino. Let's start by asking these questions. First, over how many batches does Washington's 75% minimum theoretical payout requirement apply? Second, how many bets make up a batch? And third, over how many slot machines is a single batch distributed? Knowing the answer to the first question tells us if a winning strategy exists, if it is a huge number. Knowing the answer to the other two questions helps us figure out how to win. Appendix X2 of Washington's state tribal compacts tells us that these batches also have sub-batches. But the 75% minimum theoretical payout requirement is applied to batches, and sub-batches have between 5,000 and 10,000 tickets, except for the last sub-batch, which can have less than 5,000 tickets. While we didn't get direct answers to our questions, knowing there are batches and sub-batches is helpful, as is knowing that the 75% minimum limit applies to batches only, and knowing sub-batches have 5,000 to 10,000 tickets is very helpful indeed. With this information, we can construct a winning strategy for Washington's unique slots. Batches have the 75% limit rather than sub-batches, which means a sub-batch can have either mostly winning tickets, resulting in a greater than 100% payout, mostly losing tickets, resulting in less than a 75% payout, or both winning and losing tickets with a 75% or so average. Conclusion: play sub-batches with mostly winning tickets. But how? Finding winning sub-batches means knowing more about their distribution. Specifically, how many slot machines work from the same sub-batch. Let's estimate it by making reasonable assumptions. Let's say players make one bet every 2 seconds. For a sub-batch of 5,000 tickets, that's almost nearly 3 hours of play. With 10,000 tickets instead, that's nearly 6 hours. Another reasonable assumption is that more than one slot machine works with the same sub-batch. Otherwise, why bother with the expense of a central server to hold sub-batches? So, how many slot machines work with the same sub-batch? This reasonable estimate comes down to convenience. Whose? Everybody's. If sub-batches are constantly being replaced over a large network of slot machines, that's just begging for maintenance trouble. For instance, a network of 100 machines means switching out a new 500 ticket sub-batch every 2 minutes. Instead, as a matter of convenience, let's choose every 20 minutes to switch out a sub-batch. That's a network of 10 to 20 slot machines when using 5,000 to 10,000 tickets per sub-batch. Do you see how this winning strategy plays out? Be the only player on a group of 10 or 20 slot machines near each other. You'll need to play only one machine in that group to collect all winnings in a sub-batch. But you want a winning sub-batch, so if you aren't winning after a little while, move to another group of 10 or 20 slot machines to check to see if it's playing with a winning sub-batch. That's the basics of how to win, but let's consider how to optimize this strategy for better returns. If someone else is playing your group of slot machines, you're sharing wins. That's not good if it's a stranger, but excellent if it's your spouse. Plus, there are 3 things you need to figure out for yourself. First, when is your casino so empty of people that you can be the only player in a group of 10 or 20 slot machines? Second, how many bets are needed to evaluate if you are playing through a winning sub-batch? And third, when does one sub-batch end and another start? And there's another way to win at Washington casinos, which can be used in most other states. If you want to find out how to make the most of Progressive machines, I highly recommend watching this video. It's all about becoming a specialist at winning Progressive jackpots at your casino.